Every 2 years, we have to generate new professional practice goals. But how can we ensure that they are going to be meaningful to us? Some trends we've seen in meaningful goals are that the goal is specific but not narrow, meaning that there's something specific that could benefit your practice. However, it could be applied to maybe more than one course or more than one type of student. They tend to be transactional. As a teacher, I'm going to try this and I'm going to do this thing. And as a result, my students then are going to be able to try this or do this new thing. So think about what impact will my work end up having on my students. They elevate the professional practice. It might stretch you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but by getting out of that comfort zone in an area that you already want to work on, doing something new, you are going to be able to continue to push yourself and allow for that growth. And finally, they tend to be collaborative, whether that's working with other members of a PLT on a shared goal or working with an instructional coach who can help support you as you work on your goal. But how do you write these so that they end up being effective? We used to have the SMART goal model. Now we have the RISMA goal model. The main difference is that we're beginning with the end in mind in the RISMA model. So you start with your results-oriented portion. What outcome are you hoping to achieve in doing this goal? From there, you talk about why is this goal necessary? What is the focus going to be? Then you build in some details to help make sure you stay on track within your goal. This is a 2-year goal cycle that can go off track if you don't build in checkpoints. Those checkpoints are your time-bound portion. How often are you going to do this? How often will you collect data? And finally, you need to think about what are the indicators that you're going to be able to measure to ensure that this goal is something that is actually having the results you're hoping for. The last part of the RISMA model is this idea of attainable. And this does not have to be written into your goal, but rather can be a great conversation to have with your evaluator. You really want to ask yourself, can I accomplish this in the 2-year cycle? So now it's time to write the goal. We have found that a 2-sentence structure below really helps include and incorporate all parts of the RISMA model. In order to, and here's where you're going to talk about that end result of your goal. I will, this is the spot where you will include your specifics. What are you going to focus on? Every, you'll talk about how often you plan to do this, that time-bound aspect of the RISMA model. I plan to measure my success by, and this is where you incorporate how will you know that your goal is successful. One of the links below has this sentence structure written out with questions you can reflect on for each portion. But how do you find that spark? This is something that can come from personal reflection, perhaps professional development you recently attended, or even a conversation that you've recently had with your evaluator. Think about what change you want to make within your professional practice that will move your classrooms toward that ideal. Think about how do you want to grow as an educator. As I said, there are some links below that can help you with the structure as well as include more examples. Your Buildings instructional coach is always happy to sit down and reflect and have a conversation about any part that you might be concerned about. Your department chair or evaluator is also a wonderful person to turn to if you need help in crafting your goal.